Good afternoon, everybody. Neil with the deal here on the offercentral/connections podcast with a very special guest today, Chris Deitz. This guy's a phenomenal guy. I met him a couple months ago. He was actually a speaker at a recent meetup. He was on the panel. Man, ever since I met this guy, he's just awesome. Great energy. You know, we're very sensitive to energy here. Done a lot of spiritual work. And, you know, I was actually having a conversation with him the other day that I've never had. Like, I see where he comes from as his intention. He operates from abundance and his intentions are pure, and I love that. So we have some huge announcements today, and yeah, we'll let him introduce himself.
Yeah, well, dude, that's a hell of an introduction. So yeah. Thank you, man. Chris Deitz, Big Block Realty Executives. It's funny because I met you through a friend of ours, right? And I had no idea what you were building, had no idea what you were kind of out. Usually when people come to my office, they're real estate agents, yep, or they're in the industry of real estate, which you are. But I had no clue as to what you were building, what you've built. And so what was really interesting, and then what it turns out to be really impressive more than anything, is what you at such a young age have built. Regardless of age, anyone who has done what you're doing, it's really freaking impressive. But then you add the point that you're super young and still putting it at a level where you'd think a company's been around for years. That to me was like, damn, this kid is on a sick one. I couldn't believe it. I was really excited for it. And then, as you know, we connected and you invited me to an event, and I rarely say no because I like to see and meet new people, but I've been to a lot of events, dude. And I got to say again, another round of being just wildly impressed with the amount of people that really go, but they pay attention. One thing it's hard to do, man, is you put these events together and they don't pay attention. They just go for the drink, right?
Especially when you got a bar. You get
100%, or it's at a bar,
yeah,
right? No, man, I want to kind of give back that gratitude, because what I see from you is, dude, it's so impressive. And if you guys have not met, or if you're new to the channel, if you're new to this podcast, if you're new to Neil, start paying attention. You want to align yourself with people that are doing really big things because they're visionaries. That's your guy. So pay attention, dude. So I appreciate you, man.
Thank you. Yeah, it means a lot. Yeah, man. Now, hopefully I can live up to what he was saying. Yeah.
You're already living it. That's the thing, dude.
Yeah, it's a trip. Those events, you know, I was part of this master. I'm still part of it, actually, with Donovan Ruffin. Shout out to him. He's in Texas. He does about 30 deals a month. Wow. Young guy, too. He just turned 30 this year.
Good for him, man.
And I remember I was in his mastermind, and he's like, hey, you guys should start having meetups, right? There's only 15 of us in the mastermind. We paid a lot of money to be there. You get what I'm saying? And I was like, meetups, it had Kim like a thought, right? Like, man, I should have a meetup one day. And then when he solidified it, I was like, hey, how many people do I have to get in a room for you to come out and speak at the meetup?
Yeah.
And he's like 100. And I was like, fuck, that's a lot of people.
That's a lot of people, yeah.
Because then the plan was to get 40, 50 people. And I'm like, if I get 40, 50 people there, I'm good, you know? Yeah. And what I started doing, though, is I started getting speakers that I knew had a following. So then the speakers brought their crowd, and that's how we launched it, right? So in less than a year, about 9 months, it became the biggest real estate meetup in the Inland Empire.
That's dope.
And we average anywhere from 150 to 200 people.
I saw it.
And
I saw it.
It's a trip.
Yeah, it's amazing.
So now I was like, man, once the first event ever, I had 174 people show up.
That's incredible.
It was packed. I was like, man, I have to keep it going now.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, now you set an expectation for agents, right? Not just agents, but people that are in the investing industry, wholesaling, things like that. So when you have that kind of power, and I don't mean power as in like rank, I'm talking like value.
Yeah. There's
value, but then there's power and value. And when you bring that kind of power and value into a place, people will, successful people. And that's what the biggest difference is. You can have a great meetup, you can have a great it's kind of seminar or webinar or whatever. People will show up and then within like 10, 15 minutes, we're here, right?
Yeah.
And what I notice is with power value is you're not getting people, your normal everyday people that are just kind of making their way through the industry. You're getting people that are actually putting in the work, putting in that effort, and are finding success. Mm-hmm. And those people are showing up and they don't fuck with their phones.
Yeah.
They're paying attention. They want to know what you have to say, because although they're finding success, they leave their ego at the door, because you never know. Is that one thing I always say, you never know who's going to change your life when you go to these things.
Yeah. That's why we named it Connections. You're one connection away from completely changing your life.
Yeah, 100%. So yeah, dude, it's wildly impressive. So yeah, those meetups are they're not just exciting, but they're necessary.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And there was a need for it here in Riverside. Absolutely. Because most meetups happen in LA or OC.
Always.
Yeah, no one ever does meetups in the IE, specifically Riverside. Riverside's actually the biggest city in the Inland Empire with an actual like downtown and all that stuff, right? And I'm from here, so I wear that shit on my chest.
Yeah, dude, yeah. Bring it back to the backyard, man.
Yeah, putting it on the map, because I used to live out in LA and I worked with somebody for 5 years, and that's really how I learned the industry. And then the reason I actually moved back to Riverside, it was never a thought. Like my plan was like, I'll never go back to Riverside, right? What ended up happening though is I got with my girlfriend at the time. She's my wife now.
Yeah.
And she's like, hey, I got accepted into UCR. Like I'm gonna move out there. Yeah. Like don't worry about it. I'm gonna get a roommate, and you can still do your business in Long Beach. And I'm like, what? Because she was living in Santa Barbara at the time.
Damn. Okay.
Yeah. So she went to Santa Barbara and then she transferred to UCR.
Right.
I was like, why would you get roommates? Let's just move in together. We were already together for 3 years. I was like, let's just move into, or 2 years. I was like, let's just move into, let's get a place.
Yeah.
And then, maybe my alpha came out, but I didn't want her to get roommates and stuff. So I was like, screw it. Let's, I'll just move my business out there. And I did. And when I came out here, I was just like, you know what? I'm going to stop focusing on myself, and I'm going to start focusing on a brand and the people within the brand.
Absolutely.
And if you go to the events, right, for those of you guys listening, if you go to the events, you're part of the brand.
That's right.
So we're an open book, and we're not just sharing, like we're actually doing business.
Right.
We're right now, how many listings are we about? 4 listings on the market today.
Over a weekend.
Yeah. Yep. 3 listing appointments this week, and that's on the retail side. And then, we flip and wholesale too.
Yeah.
So we're in it.
Here's what I like about the meetup that you put together is I go to a lot. I'm invited to a lot as a speaker. And even as a speaker, I'm just like, dude, when is this shit over? Because it's fluff, right? I started from the bottom. Now I'm here. And, the stories that's a cool story, but it's like the only story we ever fucking hear. We go to these meetups because we want a blueprint. You're doing something that I'm not doing.
Yeah.
But you're just telling me like, hey, do this one thing. Okay, in theory, that's cool, but like how, right? There's never like a deep dive detail on like, look, if I could do it, you could do it. Great. But fucking what did you do? Right?
Yeah, exactly. Where do I even start?
Yeah, it's like, okay, you say use this program, I'm using the program, but I'm still lost. Like, don't just tell me what it is, tell me how. Give me the meat and potatoes. And I go to your meetup, and you did invite me as a speaker, and it was great. But like as I'm sitting center stage, I'm listening to you, I'm listening to the other cat, and it wasn't just, oh, this is what I did. It's like, okay, guys, look, you're going to want to go to the chamber, and you're going to want to do this, and you're going to want to go to this neighborhood. And when you go to this neighborhood, you're going to want to knock on this door, and don't say this, you're going to say this. And I failed this way. It's like, man, if you're really there to find success, you're going to walk out of there with 1 or 2 things that you can add to your business. It's going to create more business. So for me, that style of meeting, that style of meetup, that type of event it's sorely missed, dude, because it's almost like a lot of other people or companies put events together just to have recognition. Like, look at me.
Yeah.
And I don't give if I can look at you on social. That's even too much, right?
Yeah.
So, no, I think the meetups are necessary, and the way that you put them together and who you collaborate with it's incredible. So yeah, don't stop doing that, dude. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's awesome. And usually it's funny because we actually market the meetup, the not this one, but the previous one. The way we market it was like, hey, are you tired of going to meetups and getting products, bitch? Not sharing any value?
Yeah.
That's how we marketed the meetup. Yeah. And a bunch of people showed up, and I kept my promise. We didn't promote. Obviously, we have products, right? We have products. We do our thing, but that's not the goal of the meetups. The goal of the meetups is really to put people on.
Right.
Because you can literally give somebody a playbook from A to Z, and you can be like, hey, this is how you do it, and they will still fumble it.
Of course.
Because you need to have the support.
Of course.
Talking to sellers is one thing, and then closing them is a completely separate thing.
100%.
And so just continuing with value and being at service.
Yeah.
Because, we're a little selfish here. The more we teach you guys how to get deals, the more deals you're going to bring us because we're going to buy them.
That's right.
That's right. So
the thing is, like, this industry is it's a lost industry, bro.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if you're wholesaling, doesn't matter if you're flipping, doesn't matter if you're a real estate agent. At the end of the day, there's so much push and pull and up and down and do this, don't do that, say this, don't say that. And you kind of start to question, well, who's leading this charge?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think that's the most difficult thing, which is kind of leads into what we had talked about prior to the podcast, is like, why are you doing what you're doing? You know, as far as there's so many brokerages out there, your Remaxes, your C21s, your Berkshires. I mean, they got great names. They've been around for a long time. They've had some great agents underneath their umbrella, but what's the difference? Like, why would you add yourself to that flame instead of continue to do, like, you know, things that other activities in real estate that make you a lot of money? And for me, it's like, this is where I share a lot of visionary ideas with you. It's like, I can only accomplish what I need to accomplish for my success story if I'm able to provide everything I can to somebody else's success story.
Yeah.
For me, it doesn't work if it's just singular. And I think there's a lot of cliche quotes out there, but I've actually seen it. I've seen where people, they transfer their energy into somebody else versus themselves. And when they do that, what comes back to them is tenfold. So they duplicate that process and say, look, I'm going to keep giving, because every time I give and someone takes advantage of it and they get to where they need to go, organically, somehow it comes back to me the way I wanted it in the first place. So it's a very win-win situation. Right? Yeah. And I believe at this point in this era of real estate, right now, the responsibility of a brokerage has never been more important. But yet, most of the brokerages out there are not taking responsibility, and they're not delivering actionables that agents can, you know, possess and really find success. There's more agents making less money as an agent than they would if they had a job.
That trips me out.
But they stick with it.
Yeah.
Versus if you just got a job, you'd make more money and you wouldn't have so much conflict financially.
Yeah, what I see happening with a lot of these traditional brokerages, right? Because I was an agent for 5 years, so I was there. I was at Century 21 for a long time. You know, when you ask them, hey, who do I cold call? What do they tell you? FSBOs and expireds.
Yeah.
High equity absentee owners.
That's right.
That's it.
Yeah.
Just call that sphere of influence, right? But marketing has so much more than that. They don't teach you about like how to run ads, you know, like PPC or lead providers where you can buy pay per lead,
right?
Which is PPL, or even you know, most offices don't teach you probates.
No.
You get what I'm saying? They don't.
Or they'll have the one class a year.
Yeah.
Or they'll bring someone who can tell you about probate, and from that you're supposed to be an expert, right?
Yeah, they don't teach you where to get the data from, all that stuff, right? So I feel like right now what's happening with the real estate brokerages is they don't teach that.
Right.
And now especially with the lawsuit that's going on where buyer commissions are going to change, there has to be another route. Right? Like there has to be another route, and it has to be modernized, meaning brokerages, I believe, will benefit if they teach the hybrid model. What's the hybrid model? It's the cash offer or the listing.
Right.
It's off market or on market. And it's okay to do both. But most brokerages don't make any money on the cash offer or off market, so they want to stay away from that.
And that's the biggest problem, right? I don't make money, so I'm not going to show you and teach you. So there's problem number one. The other problem is, to your point, is the people that are running these offices don't know how to do it themselves.
They've never, dude, some of these offices have production coaches that have never sold a house.
That
trips me out.
And to me, that's a big problem, right? Yeah. So you're right. And I just got done talking about it. If you give somebody the platform to succeed, you're going to find success, right? If you're running an office and you have agents who are struggling, or maybe they're finding some wins here and there.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you offer or bring in some kind of a benefit to where they could start transitioning out of that rat race?
That's where the brokerage makes the most money, though. So they want to keep them there.
You're right. But there's always a way.
Yeah.
And you're not going to ever find out what benefit you could have from showing somebody how to retire unless you try, unless you do it. And years have gone by with these brokerages, and no one's ever stepped up and said, look, we're going to do exactly all the topics you just brought up. on a regular basis. We are going to bring in different pillars of opportunity so you can participate if you so choose. There's no force. But what if you did want to invest? What if you did want to learn how to wholesale? What if you did want to learn how to buy and hold or buy and flip? Why isn't there a brokerage of these big names doing that? And to your point, we don't make money. Yeah, you do. You just need to figure it out.
Yeah.
And if you're the one providing that platform, agents will participate. They'll be more than happy to participate if you're offering them something that's going to allow them to eventually retire and have generational wealth. No one's going to get wealthy selling real estate. Nobody.
You live well.
You'll get rich, but rich has an expiration date.
Yeah.
Right? Because we are undisciplined. We weren't born entrepreneurs. The ones that were born entrepreneurs are the ones that we go sit in a chair and watch on stage because they've developed themselves into being that. But it's $2,000 and in an entrance into business ownership. Is the only thing that separates someone who's not in business for themselves and a small business owner is $2,000 at a test.
Yeah.
So there's not enough barrier. There's not enough vetting to say, hey, this isn't for you.
Yeah.
There's not enough, and there'll never be that.
Yeah. But
when you have somebody who starts to understand it a little bit, they don't have to understand the whole thing, but the mindset is the biggest struggle, right? Look at this opportunity you have in front of you. You can't wake up at 11 o'clock in the morning and take naps and go play softball and go to the bat. This is a business. Once people start to kind of trickle into that understanding, there needs to be another responsibility at the point, because you're paying somebody to be a part of a company.
Yeah.
Right? That company needs to be more than just a brand. Here's my name. You gave me money. Now here's a business card. Go tell everybody you're with my company. No, I don't sell real estate. You sell real estate.
Yeah.
Tell me about your company. And by the way, when you come back to the office, we're going to show you how to develop your finances. We're going to show you how to build a portfolio.
How to build a CRM.
We're going to show you how to build a CRM.
Yeah.
How to manufacture that. And there's not enough of those conversations, right?
Yeah.
And the boutique real estate, the independent real estate brokerage started to, but they also realized that in scalability costs a lot of money. And they didn't have enough finances to hit that back office well enough to support a large group of people going, dude, you're absolutely right. That's exactly what I need. Right? So it's a missing element. It's a missing element in real estate as a whole. And I think right now with this NAR settlement, the NAR settlement's not the problem, because the problem started in 2019. Nobody did shit about it. Right? We just sat back and wore it. And here we are. Wholesaling's been around forever.
For a long time.
Right? Wholesaling's been around.
Barely went mainstream back 2014, 2015 is when it went mainstream.
But it's still real estate.
Correct.
You're still having matter of fact,
sales and marketing.
It's so funny because I just did an announcement that said, how many of you real estate agents want to get into wholesaling? And everybody raised their hand. And I kind of just sat back and I'm like, do they realize what it takes to find a deal? Because if they did realize, just go find the listing.
Yeah.
Right? It's the same activity.
Yeah.
It's apples to apples.
Prospecting.
It's prospecting.
That's all it is.
That's all it is.
And all it is a different exit strategy.
Yeah. So exactly. So I just feel that knowing that now that they want to do it, it tells me that brokerages specifically has not done a great enough job showing people how to prospect efficiently. Because if you have that many people saying, I'm willing to prospect, and they're all licensed agents and they'll have years under their belt, and they're all volunteering, I want to wholesale, I know it involves prospecting. Well, great. But that also was a huge, huge light bulb that said, oh my God, they want to do it, but no one's showing them how to do it effectively. They're just saying, here's a script, here's a FSBO list, here's an expired, go ham.
Yeah.
It's a numbers game. Well, kind of true, but there's more to it, bro.
Yeah. It for sure is a numbers game, but then you can also increase probability of who's more likely to sell.
Right.
Because I can say, for example, if I have the information and I know what kind of data converts,
Yeah.
I can do 100 calls and get 2-3 deals.
Yeah.
Somebody will do 100 calls and have 2-3 conversations.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Which is huge. It's complete. I mean, you're talking about a $40,000 to $60,000 difference,
Right.
with the same effort and the same work, just a different perspective towards the people you're talking to. You know?
Yeah. Absolutely.
So it's phenomenal, dude. And you know what? The fact that you have that type of mindset is what really, really did attract me to you. And, you know, that's why we did decide, you know, we have a little announcement. OfferCentral actually transferred over to Big Block on as far as the retail side. You know, we're mainly investments and stuff, but, you know, we still do retail transactions here and there. We actually just hired Cindy. She's a phenomenal agent. She got 4 listings right away. So now that makes me think how much money I left on the table, because we weren't doing anything with those seller leads. We're just like, hey, tunnel vision, wholesaling and flips. You get what I'm saying? We weren't doing anything with the listings, but I mean, she's kicking ass.
I'm sitting with her for 15 minutes, and the multitask between answering my question, responding to your question, and getting ready to dial and having a conversation. I mean, killer.
Yeah.
Just an absolute killer. And that, you know, that's exciting because you already know where she's headed.
Yeah.
You know, as far as her success story. So to me, it's really, really exciting. The partnership with OfferCentral and Big Block it's really exciting because it really does form the bond that was needed between traditional real estate and then your investment real estate, the wholesale, the flipping and all that stuff. So now it just provides that leg and keeps the promise that we as a brokerage really do want agents to retire.
And we can run a hybrid model.
Absolutely.
And be in compliance. Because my old office, I remember when I wanted to get into wholesaling, I told them, I was like, hey, what do you guys know about wholesaling? Like, I'm thinking of getting into it. It's illegal. Don't do that.
It's illegal.
Yeah, it's illegal. Don't do that. Stick to listings and buyers. Right. Stay out of trouble. And I'm like, man, I was like, dude, I mean, I get it, but then, you know, I paid for Thatch New, and I paid for his coaching, and he's doing it.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, this guy's licensed. What's so illegal about it?
My business partner, me and Carlos, we own Big Block together. Dude, he wholesales, he buys, he flips, he buy and holds. He's very, very active, and he stays active. And for us to ignore that to our roster of agents that are constantly looking for other outlets on top and paralleling their buying and selling transactions, like, yeah. How could we ignore that? Why would we ignore that? Because we don't make $1? I promise you there's some way.
Your partner can buy the deals, because now you got a military and army of people looking for deals.
Exactly. And it's a win-win.
Or escrow time. I mean, there's many ways of doing it. You
Absolutely.
know, and I feel like the first brokerage to monetize that the correct way is going to take off. And that's going to lead the industry into pivoting into that.
Yeah.
Most brokerages are going to want to pivot into that, but it's going to be very hard for the ones that are established.
I'll be honest with you. This is an opinion, not a fact. My opinion is that will never happen, and I'm going to tell you why. If there was an opportunity for a brokerage to do something that was really beneficial for the agent, they would have been doing it since the early 2000s, but nothing happens. Instead, it's all gimmicky. Mm-hmm. There's a brokerage that came out, I'm not going to say their name. There's a brokerage that came out in the last 2 years. They don't promote their ability to lift up an agent. Here's what they promote, and you can look this up if you want to test me on this. Free dry cleaning. Free car washes. A downline. Like, dude, what the fuck?
Yeah.
This is the new innovation. This is the new brokerage of the future that all agents have been waiting for to boost their financial state. Like, you're going to save me $50 on dry cleaning. I could promise you there's a lot of agents that don't use dry cleaning, right?
I don't even wear suits anymore, bro.
A car wash. That's a car wash, dude. Like, this is it becomes so ridiculous. And this is a company that has a lot of financial backing. And then you just look at the ones that have been around for the last 5, 10, 15, 20, 30, 50 years, and you're going, where's the innovation? So you gave me a doper CRM? Cool. what are we putting in place for me to really set myself apart financially? I'm not trying to compete. I'm not trying to be better than the other agent.
Yeah.
I want to be better for my family. I want to be better for my purpose, right? I want to be better for my bank. I need to be better for myself. But those conversations aren't happening.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, and that's why I said, dude, like, I think you're absolutely right. I believe that a brokerage that does pay attention to those things, those outlets, they are going to win, and how to monetize that.
100%.
But it's not just monetizing. You got to provide.
Of course.
You have to be able to provide something you're able to monetize. You can say, hey, well, you could do it here. Just pay us more money. That doesn't work.
Yeah.
You have to actually be involved in it. And that's why I say it's going to be, if it's not us, hopefully it's us, knock on wood. Hopefully it's us doing that. That's the direction that we are 100% committed to. But I truly believe you're right. The company that does pay attention in that segment embraces that hybrid mentality, puts agents on a platform to do both, and does it effectively on both sides. Absolute take-all winner, in my opinion.
Yeah, you ever heard of Investor Lift?
Yeah.
So Investor Lift is like an off-market MLS,
right,
for off-market deals. I think if there was a way for a brokerage to operate the same way where they capitalize on cash buyers, because the brokerages always have a bunch of cash buyers. Yep. Like you could even tell your agents, hey, if you guys are investors and you want to join our cash buyers list, let us know. And then what you can do, and this is just an idea I've been having, I probably shouldn't share, but what you can do is tell your agents, hey, we have a very strong cash buyers list. Yeah. If you get any off-market deals and you want us to send it out to our buyers, we'll just take a referral fee and we'll sell the deal for you. We'll connect you with the buyer, and then you do the work and negotiate, but we connected you. Right. So we'll just do a referral fee.
Yeah. It's simple as that. So simple, but see how you participated in the whole process?
Yeah.
It could be that simple, Neil, and they just don't, dude. They just don't.
And that's the hardest part sometimes when you're new at wholesaling, you don't know how to sell the deal.
Right.
So if you provide that, teach them how to get it, and then you provide that, and now you just monetize. It's a lot more complex than that, but it can start with that idea,
It's a lot more complex, but it doesn't have to be for the person that's involved.
Correct.
I want to be able to tell an agent and say, hey, how involved do you want to be? And I want them to be able to say, I don't want to be involved at all, but I still want to make money, or I want to be 100% involved, and have an option for everybody in between as well, right? We have a fund. So we had an agent, she had made over the course of she had a great run. And she made a little over $100,000 in commission. And she came up to me, and Carlos, she goes, if you were me, how would you spend this money? Because it's going to go into my savings account. And Carlos goes, well, why don't you put it back into your business? Marketing dollars and ads, and we'll help you build the ads, and we'll do all those things. No, I already set money aside for that. This is just literally, this is what I put aside for like rainy day stuff. And Carlos said, well, do you want to learn about investing? And she goes, I was hoping that's the direction you were going to take me to. I said, okay, well, how involved do you want to be? She goes, it's so over my head. And he goes, all right, I'll tell you what, you give me 100, I'll give you back plus 30 in 90 days. And she goes, okay. Otherwise, it's going to sit in her bank.
Yeah.
Right. So $100,000 is out. He pays her back in 60 days. $100,000 plus $30,000 for the deal.
30% return in 60 days is phenomenal.
Huge.
You can't. I mean, where else are you going to do that?
Now we have an agent who vocally said, I don't want to know. I don't understand. I don't want to understand. I do like the thought of it, but it's over my head. And being full transparent with us, I don't think I would pay attention to learn all the different segments and what it would take to do that.
Yeah.
But I want to participate. Great. We still had that opportunity for it. She walked away with $30,000 more than she had 60 days ago.
Yeah.
And what she's going to do with that, whatever.
But she do whenever she can go buy a car if she wants.
Bro, she's chomping at the bit to do it again. She's trying to do it again and do it again. And then on the other side of the spectrum, we have an agent who's like, I want you to show me everything. Great. Because much like you spent a lot of money to get into a network, so did we.
Should do that.
Right?
I don't know if you can put a number on it, but I was thinking about it the other day. I think I've done like over 200 grand
Yeah, it's about the same.
to be part of
Just
like
in the last 2 years.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, mine's probably the last 5 years. But I mean, that's still a lot of money.
It's a lot of money.
But then it freaking projected me in a direction that I didn't even think would happen. You get what I'm saying?
Yep.
But yeah, and then another thing about like offices too is that they don't teach how to automate your lead generation.
Correct.
They just teach you how to cold call.
Right.
But there's the marketing, which is the automated lead generation, which again could be through like PPC. It could be through hiring cold callers. It could be through a referral basis. I mean, whatever, as long as it's automated.
Yeah.
So all you're doing as a closer is literally following up and closing.
Yeah.
So then there's the marketing and then there's the sales.
Right.
And they're just as important, but the lead generation is a lot easier to automate than the sales part.
Yeah.
Because the sales, you need actual experience to be able to convert.
So, there's so much truth. So much truth to that. But I mean, at the end of the day, you kind of see where we started to plant our own seeds on how we wanted to project our brokerage. I don't want to be another real estate brokerage. That doesn't interest me. I don't think agents are interested in having another.
I love the real estate cafe, by the way, in Corona.
Yeah.
When I went there the first time, it literally looks like a cafe when you walk in, and it's sick because it's not like your standard cubicle office.
We don't want that.
Yeah,
we don't
awesome.
want that.
It's like lounging, and there's a kitchen, and you can get drink and coffee. It's super sick, by the way.
It's something that you want to get out of bed and get out of your home for.
Yeah.
Right. And dude, I've been a part of brokerages. I was on the operational side and I didn't want to be there. And I'm being paid to be there.
Yeah.
Then I don't want to be there.
Yeah.
And I was the guy running the show and I didn't want to be there. It was painful.
Yeah.
The decor was old and the cubicles and all the doors are closed because agents see the same thing I do. It sucks. I don't want to be there.
Right? In a room all day, you know?
It's in a room and there's no vibe. And so what happened, I was actually running an office and a group of this agent group came through and we had become really good friends. And I'm like, oh shit, hey, what's up guys? Like, hey, what's going on, Chris? Hey, good to see you, this and that. I said, what are you guys gonna do? We're gonna do some work real quick. And there's like 6 of them. They go into their office. 10 minutes. They're on their way back out. Where are you guys going?
How many calls you making?
Yeah, it's like, where are you guys going? He's like, well, we just came to get the list, dude. We're actually going to go do work in Starbucks.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what? He goes, dude, come with us. This place sucks. And I'm like, he's not wrong.
Yeah.
He's not wrong. And I totally understood it. And then on my drive home, because I've always traveled, I'm just thinking to myself, like, dude, something's got to give here.
Yeah.
Right? Something's got to give. And so when we were designing our brokerage office, we wanted a cafe. We wanted a place where we could hang out, but still get the job done.
I like the color too, green. It's the creative color.
Right. Yeah.
It's the creative color, and there's a lot of green everywhere.
I wish I could take credit for the color, but that did come from our partners at the corporate guys, but I like it too.
The green is dope. Yeah.
Yeah, I like it too.
I was like, damn, I should have picked green for my color. Yeah.
It's never too late, bro.
Yeah, for us, it's black and gold are the main colors. Black, gold, and
that's still my vibe. So you're good to go.
Yeah, black, gold, and white. You know, it's cool colors. That's what we've been using for a while.
Yeah.
But we've transitioned, right? Like I've always been in real estate and really understood like the marketing aspect, right?
Yeah.
I'm not really a big numbers guy. I'm a salesperson.
Yeah.
But what ended up happening is that we went from real estate. I built a dope system as far as like automations and all that stuff. I got it built, started showing it to people. I mean, I showed it to you, you know, you're one of the people I showed it to. And then people started asking me, well, how do I get it?
Yeah.
And then I showed it to a title rep, and then he got me a presentation at Century 21, and then it just kind of just took off.
Yeah.
And I was like, shit, well, now I have to, and at the time it was just me and somebody else. It was a tech guy that was building it out for me. He's a good buddy of mine. His name's Marco. We went to high school together, and we ended up starting an operation. Like we had to hire VAs, we trained them. Now we have departments.
Yeah.
And now it's a full marketing agency, which is kind of cool though, because
incredible, dude.
Because we're, you know, there's offercentral real estate and then the offercentral media. Right. Offercentral real estate is a VIP client to the media, right? So we get first call on everything.
That's
you know,
right.
Cool, yeah. So it's interesting, but I'm very excited.
My question for you is why? You know, how old are you?
27.
27, bro. Like, what was the influence to get into specifically real estate? You just said something that was really interesting. I'm a salesman. I'm a sales guy. And you're one of the very few that take pride in that, because I take pride in that.
Yeah.
It's a skill set.
It's a skill set.
And it takes a lot, right, to be a very good salesperson, because the definition of salesperson is very different from what the consumer would define us when they hear the word salesperson, right?
Yeah.
So I totally get the differences, but knowing what you know, knowing where you're going to go, what was the influence for you to get into the real estate industry doing what you're doing?
I actually went into real estate on accident, bro. I mean, it sounds cliche, but it's like a standard. Like, I graduated high school with the 2.1, barely graduated. I'm an immigrant from Mexico.
Yeah.
You know, I was born in Sinaloa, so I didn't qualify for FAFSA, financial aid, none of that. So I was like, and then it just, even at a young age, I was just like, man, it's going to cost me $100,000 to get a master's degree. What, you know, I can just start a business with that and make X amount, right?
Right.
So then I went to a seminar. I remember it was my last $800. The seminar was $800. My last, I even had a yard sale, sold some of my stuff to be able to afford it, you know?
Yep.
And I went, and then I met a real estate broker there, and he, you know, shows up super nicely dressed and everything, and connected with him. And I was like, what do you do? He's like, oh, I'm a real estate broker. I've been doing it for, I think at the time it was like 17 years.
Yeah.
That was 9 years ago. Wow. I was 18.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was 9 years ago, and we just connected, and he's like, hey, you want to work? And I was like, yes. Helped me get my real estate license, took me under his wing. I moved out to LA. I'm from Moreno Valley. I moved out to LA. And he paid my rent 6 months.
Wow, dude.
Yeah. And I remember I was driving Uber, trying to make some money, because I wasn't making, it took me 3 years to make money in real estate.
Sure. Yeah.
2.5. I mean, I was doing deals here and there, but never really like actual money where there's, I can go buy what I want. Yeah. But yeah, it took 3 years, and I mean, your why changes over time, right? Like, my why at first was, I need to learn how to make money. I need to be good for myself. I need to do this, right?
Right.
And then it pivots. Now it's, and that's when, like you were talking about it earlier, when you start focusing on the people around you,
right,
that's when your life really changes, at least for me personally. Like, I'm living proof of that, because the biggest realization I had in the last 12 months or 18 months was, it was never about me. I was so focused on myself,
right,
but it was never about me. And what taught me that was hiring my first VA.
Yeah.
Giving him an opportunity, and vice versa, right? Helped me, and we helped each other, and changed his life.
Yeah.
Changed my life, and I was like, holy shit, this is what it's about. And then, and from there, now, you know, my why is a little different now. Obviously, it's the people around me, but my why right now, I was actually thinking about this yesterday, is I'm almost there. I'm like probably like 50K off. So I have to get my dad to $1 million net worth.
Oh, wow.
Net worth.
Okay.
Because with the $1 million, he's an immigrant himself too. He doesn't have his green card. But with the $1 million net worth, we can he can apply for an international investor visa, which allows him to leave and come back to the country and be here legally with an actual social.
Right.
Because he has that visa, but you need $1 million net worth.
Dude, that's amazing.
With his house, the house we just bought, or that I just bought, we're going to have about $250K in equity.
Yeah.
His house has about 700 because he built an ADU. We have some money in the bank. So I'm literally transferring everything, putting it under a trust, putting him as the beneficiary to hit the $1 million net worth, to be able to get him that.
Dude, that's amazing.
And that's been my why probably for the last year.
Such a great why, dude.
Yeah. Took me 1 year.
Yeah.
Took me 1 year.
That's a really good why. You go, not to shit on the agents, but I get that, like, what's your why? Like, I want a Maserati. It's like,
oh, yeah. No.
That's cool. But then you hear that, it's like, nah, bro, you gotta upgrade your why a little bit. Yeah. You gotta upgrade your why a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, Maseratis are cool, you get what I'm saying? But yeah, that's my why right now.
No, that's awesome. Man.
Just because, right, he doesn't really speak too much English, and he does really well now. He does well, and it's crazy that he can't apply because he does very well.
Yeah.
You know, and it's one of those things where he thinks he's hit his cap because he's not from here, and he's like, hey, this is as far as I'm going to get because I'm not from here and I don't speak the language. And it's like,
right,
dude, I speak English, but I'm an immigrant too. Like, I've never used it as an excuse.
Right. And
I've always just had this drive and like this, I don't know what it is. It's just, I just want to be successful so fucking bad. It's crazy.
Yeah. That's, you know, there's nothing wrong with that.
No.
There's no reason to villainize that, dude, in my opinion. I mean, everyone's got a different definition of success, dude.
Yeah.
And so
For me, it's just getting my dad that green card right now. And then after that, it's like, what's next, you know?
People always, I get shit on all the time because I've made a lot of money in my, as a real estate agent, as operations, and now a broker owner. I've made a lot of money, and I get shit on all the time. It's like, dude, why aren't you driving like a Bentley, bro?
I still drive a Honda, bro.
And I'm like, what do you mean? It's like, are you like, because they see the way I dress, and I take pride in the way what I dress. I don't wear suits. I wear the shit that I like, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I drive a CLS 500. It's an old ass car. But homie, I remember when I was like 24, that car came out. I cannot tell you the shit that was going through my head. I'm like, I don't know what I have to do to get that car. I want that car so bad. And I was born in the 90s or 80s, but 90s kid. And I was an audiophile, dude. Guys my age, we had subwoofers and we were hitting those blocks, just seeing how many alarms we could turn off. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I mean, I had a gang of nice cars, but then I came across this one. It was $8,000 and it was mint, dude.
Yeah. And
I'm like, dude, I've always wanted this car. Bought it cash. I have no fucking payment, bro.
Yeah.
And I have a car that I thought, and for me, not for everybody else, I can give a fuck what you like, but for me, this was a dope car.
Yeah.
And by the time I'm done with it, putting me things in it, it'll be rad. But that's my definition of a success story. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I never tell people like, oh, you need this in order to say you've made it.
Yeah.
What the hell do I know about what you like, what your hobbies are, what your interests are? Like that's not fair, right?
Yeah.
It's silly. I do say, and I preach all the time, like, no matter what happens, constantly upgrade your lifestyle. Upgrade it to a point to where if you ever look behind you, you're like, dude, there's no way I can go back now.
Yeah.
Right? And I don't know what that means for each individual person. For me, it was like, look, I spend hours on the road. You know my road story every day. And I get a question like, okay, Chris, you have a car, cool, but what's next? Do you want the Bentley? Do you want the Lambo? Do you want the Rolls? And I'm like, honestly, no. I want a driver.
Yes.
I want a driver.
Yeah.
Well, what do you want me to drive? I don't fucking care.
Yeah.
As long as the back seat is big enough to where I'm comfortable, I don't care.
Yeah.
Because I will never not be on the road. You know, I'm committed to my businesses. I'm committed to the people that are in my businesses, which means I got to be on the road. I got to show up. And if I can go from the driving to not driving, but still maintain,
sick,
dude, count me in, right? But then when I get to that point, it's going to be hell if I have to go back.
Yeah.
And that's going to continue to drive me to continue to pour into the businesses and the people inside my businesses. So
yeah,
I always tell people, like, look, I don't know what your wants are, but go get it and go get it fast.
Yeah.
And invest in that. And, you know, for some people it's a fucking Louis Vuitton purse, and that, okay. No judgment.
No. Right? Yeah. I mean, to each their own. Yeah. I remember I drove a 2009 Corolla around for 4.5 years.
Yeah.
I bought it cash too. I think I paid like $7,000 for it. And I finally sold it with 180,000 miles in 2021 when I got the car I have now. And the only reason I sold it and bought a new one was because my CPA was like, hey, you need to buy a car.
Yeah, right.
And I was like, all right, cool. Let me see what I can get. And I bought a 2020 Accord Sport, the Honda.
Yeah, great.
Phenomenal car, dude. People are telling me, like, why don't you get in? I was like, dude, I like my car.
Yeah,
you know?
You go buy one.
It's fast. I pimped it out. I have, flex fuel kit in it, tuned everything. It's pretty sick. But
yeah,
we'll see where it goes, dude. We'll see where it goes, and you'll be hearing from me very soon. I'll be like, hey, dude, I got my dad that,
Yeah, dude, I cannot wait for that phone call. That's an exciting why, dude.
I think about it every day.
Yeah, no, that's awesome.
Think about it every day.
I was able to do something real special for my dad, but I don't want to make it about me. But when you have that moment, bro, there's nothing better.
Yeah.
There's nothing better.
Yeah, the crazy part is he sees me flipping houses, bro, and he's, because I'm very open with him. I have a great relationship with him. Yeah. So he sees how much money we make and stuff like that. He saw how much money I made last year, and he's like, holy shit, like, what are you doing? He just till this day doesn't know exactly what I do, picked up a project and he wants to quit his job. He's like, dude, we should do this full time.
Oh, good.
I was like, I'm already finding him, you know, like we can do it. We need to get some money going, and I can raise capital, but I just haven't had that support where he'll essentially be the project manager.
Yeah.
And he'll just be handling he has all the connects for the contractors and everything, you know? So,
Perfect. How cool to circle it back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's an awesome path, dude.
But yeah, dude, but I think pretty much it for today. We covered a lot.
Yeah, dude.
You know, we covered a lot. I learned stuff about you. I mean, we haven't really sat down and talked this long.
No, man. No, not about some background stuff.
Yeah.
It's been so business, but we'll change that. We'll change that shortly, dude.
Yeah, we're about to go smoke a cigar right now, so that'd be cool. But yeah, Chris, thank you. Tell them where we can find you on social media if anybody wants to reach out and have questions.
Yeah, this is about as tame as you'll ever see me behind a camera. So you can find me at the Turned Up Broker on Instagram. Facebook, it's just Chris Deitz, Deitz. But if you're a real estate agent out there, start asking yourself the question. Start asking yourself business questions. Am I in the right environment? Do the people around me really want to see me succeed? And do they have my success in their best interest, not just success in general? Start asking yourself that question. And for wholesaling side, if you're in real estate or ever thought about real estate in general as a pillar of financial income, maybe it's time you reach out to guys like Neil, offercentral, and have people show you the ropes. It's changed his life, and it's changing a lot of people's lives. offercentral. Don't sleep on this guy.
Hit us up, Neil with the Deal on Instagram. We'll be in touch. And until next time, guys, thank you again for joining us. Very excited to see what we have to come in the next 12 months.
Absolutely.
So see you guys later.
Hop in the car, watch it go vroom, vroom. I told her mom that I blow soon. Know as a child